Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Gaelic Football Views on CavanTV.com. Tonight we're coming to you from the Hotel Kilmore on the Dublin Road in Cavan for the Senior, Intermediate and Junior Championship draws for 2015.
And welcome to the Hotel Kilmore on the Dublin Road here in Cavan for the 2015 Hotel Kilmore Senior, Intermediate and Junior Championship draw. I'm delighted to be joined here on the stage by Jerry Brady, the newly appointed County Board Chairman. Jerry, you're very welcome to the position as County Board Chairman. You have big boots to fill.
Very big boots, Michael. There's no doubt about Tom Riley was a very, very successful chairman. He had a tremendous 5 years, so he had tremendous success both on and off the field in his organisation and also with the amount of trophies they were back at the county. So it will be a very hard act to follow, but I'm up for it, and please God we can get a few trophies back in the coming 12 months as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the trophies, all right. We're going for 5 in a row at under 21 level. That's going to be kicking off now in a couple of weeks' time as well. And obviously we have Monaghan in May in the Ulster Senior Championship.
Yeah, hopefully we can continue our run at under 21 level. It's been a fantastic number of years for Cavan, and by being successful at under 21 level, we're bringing plenty of good quality players through to our senior team, and I don't think they should need any motivation to play the old enemy Monaghan. So we're looking forward to that with immense enthusiasm. And I think on the day we should be able to pull it off, please God.
And during the meeting, just before we went live on air, you mentioned the Congress, a wonderful event and a wonderful occasion for Cavan as well.
A fantastic occasion. It took us 121 years to get a nuclear on from Cavan, but thankfully we have one. It's a tremendous occasion, tremendous for Aegon, for his family, his club, and for the county. So we really were immensely proud of Aegon in the Steve Russell last week. I think it's going to be a fantastic nuclear on, so it is. I think it's going to be a people's nuclear on and a grassroots run as well, so it all looks good for him.
It's all good in Cavan at the minute. Jerry, I'll be back to you in a few minutes and you'll be helping me do a couple of the draws. I'm just going to go on to Paul Henry. Paul, representing the Hotel Kilmore and the County Board and everything in Cavan, just want to thank you for your continued support and sponsorship of the championships in Cavan. What does it mean to the Hotel Kilmore to be involved with Cavan GAA at such a high level?
It's great again, we can be back sponsoring. GAA and Cavan's big business for us. Harry Week is why we don't see a club in or a county team or whatnot. So I'd like to thank the club officers of Cavan County Board for their support. And hopefully we're heading for another good year.
Fingers crossed. Not only that, but your beloved Butler's Bridge as well. How do you feel that they're going to go this year?
Well, we're thereabouts, but we're excited about Butler's Bridge. We're opening a new field now on the 2nd of May by our new president, Aegon. So we're happy to have Aegon there, the first field open by Aegon in his new job.
Brilliant. Not only that, but you're after opening up a cryo spa as well for injury prevention and curing as well down in Butler's Bridge.
That's it. We're the first to Cavan to have a cryo spa. It's for injuries and treatment. We're open to treatment 7 days a week. Any club wants to contact any club officer, we're there for business.
It's a wonderful amenity as well to have in Cavan. So it is. Not only that, Paul, but we'll just bring it back to the hotel. The hotel has had a very successful year, and not only that, there's big renovations going on at the moment.
That's right. We added a new fountain, a new feature at the front of the hotel, and plus we built a corridor at the side of the hotel here, linking up our country club and a new conference suite.
Excellent, so it's all happening here at the Hotel Kilmore, so it is at the minute. Paul, I'm going to go on now to Jerry McKiernan. Jerry, Chairman of the CCC. Jerry, we're just going to go to you just to explain the format of the draws here tonight.
The first one we're going to do is the Junior Championship. The first draw taking place the Junior Championship. 11 teams in it. Shanghairs, Cornfane, Mahara, Kildallan, Temple Pope, Muchaconna, Knockbride, Ballymacue, Montjuicy and Kill. That's done on a league basis. With the first Group A have 4 teams, Group C 4 teams, and Group C 3 teams. So Paul would open the
So Paul Henry is just going to open the envelope here, and we're going to go straight to the Junior Championship draw. As Jerry already said, there are 11 teams, and each team, the first team will be going into Group A. So, Jerry, if you'd like to pull the first team out for the Junior Championship. And we have the little pocket, and the first team out in the Junior Championship will be Kill. So in Group A, number 1, Kill. And the next team out will go straight into Group B. as number 2. Paul Henry has pulled that team out. And the first team out in Group B will be Templeport. So Templeport going straight into Group B. This championship, 3 groups, 2 groups of 4, 1 group of 3, run on a league basis. Jerry has the third team out. The third team out will be going straight into Group C, and the third team out is Knockbride. Knockbride, a powerhouse of senior football in the not too distant past, will be looking to put in a big championship at junior level. And the fourth team out will be the second team in Group A, and the second team in Group A will be Muncher Connacht. So Group A has Kill and Muncher Connacht so far, and Jerry is just going to take out the 15 going straight into Group B with Templeport. The second team in Group B will be Cornafane. Cornafane beat the semi-finalists last year, looking to go 1 or 2 better this year. Team number 6 out and we'll be going straight into Group C as the second team, and that is Kildallan. So Kildallan and McBride so far in Group C. Now, team number 7, back to Group A. So Kill, Muncher Connacht will be joined by Corla. Corla, who had a great win over Kill on the weekend in the Referee League. So Corla, Muncher Connacht and Kill in Group A. Third team out for Group B, team number 8, and that is Ballymacue. Ballymacue, of course, beaten finalists last year in the Junior Championship. So Group B sees Templeport, Cornafane and Ballymacue. And Group C, the third team out, and this is the final team in Group C, and that will see Knockbride and Kildallan joined by Mount Nugent. So Group C has Knockbride, Kildallan and Mount Nugent. Back to Group A for the fourth team in Group A. So Kill, Muncher Connacht, Corla will be joined by Mahara. So Mahara in Group A. And the final team out, team 11, they will be the fourth team in Group B, and that is Shannon Gales. So we'll just run through each group there. So we have Group A, Kill, Muncher Connacht, Corla and Mahara. Group B, Templeport, Cornafane, Ballymacue and Shannon Gales. Group C, Knockbride, Kildallan and Mount Nugent. So that championship will be run on a league basis with the top team in each group going straight through to the semi-finals. And the second team in each group will be playing off for the fourth semi-final spot. So Jerry, we'll go back to Jerry McKeon now, the chairman of the CCC, and just to, if you want to run through the format there for the semi-finals for the Junior Championship.
The Junior Championship is the top three teams go through the semi-final. The second team in A, second team in B and the second team in C play off to make both semi-finals.
Excellent. Thanks a million, Jerry. I'm joined now by the chairman of the Ballymacue team, Brennan Sweeney, last year's beaten finalists. Brendan, it's a tough draw again this year.
It is indeed, yeah. Very, very tough draw. And just to see probably our first game in it is Shannon Gales. We just had a little bit of bite with our manager from last year, Stephen Baxter, is actually over Shannon Gales this year, so
that'll definitely add a bit of bite to it. And also the last year's other beaten semi-finalists, Cornafane, also in your group as well. You know, it's not going to be an easy one. And Shannon Gales, obviously, they will be playing a local derby against Templeport. There'll be a bit of bite in this group.
It will be, yeah. It's a very, very tough group. Templeport and Cornafane both come with 2 good, very young teams. It will be very, just a toss of a coin as to what 2 teams have come out of that group. It's a very, very tough group.
There's a lot of work being done in your own club at underage level at the moment, and you seem to be coming on very well. Maybe a couple of years down the line, you'll be starting to win a lot of trophies again.
Yeah, we're very good at, we say, under 12, under 14 at the moment, with reasonable numbers at that age. A lot of work being done there by a lot of people over the last couple of years, and you know, we won the under 12 last year for the Division 1, and that's a huge boost to us. So hopefully, for a few years, they'll all start coming too.
The future is bright in Ballymacue, and best of luck in the Junior Championship again this year, Brendan. So we're going to go on now to the Hotel Kilmore Intermediate Football Championship draw for 2015. All teams in this will be playing for the Tommy Gilroy Club. And Paul Henry has just put the teams into the bowl, and we're going to get the first team pulled out. Just before we open it, actually, Jerry McKiernan, the intermediate draw, if you want to just explain how the intermediate championship is going to run, we will have a preliminary round in this.
It's a 13 teams in the intermediate championship. Ballyborough, Kilcare, Sharcock, Ballyhale, Butterbridge, Drumlane, Larry United, Belturbet, Red Hills, Swanaba, Cavan GAA second team, and the junior championship winners last year are. First two teams out will play preliminary round.
Okay, the first team out, Jerry Grady, you have it in your hand. And the first team going into Game A, the preliminary round, is Larry United. Larry United going straight in to the Game A, the preliminary round for the Intermediate Championship. And Paul Henry has the second team out. And they will be playing Drung. A nice local derby there, that one just to whet the appetite. Drung and Lara playing in the first preliminary round. Now, the winners of the preliminary round have just been added to the bowl. So, Jerry Brady taking out the next team, and he's pulled out. The winner of the preliminary round will be straight through to round one proper against. Paul Henry has this team. And they will be playing Red Hills. Red Hills relegated from Senior Championship last year, and they will be playing I think it's the winner of Lara and Drum. Jerry has the next team out, and the next team out is Ballyborough. Ballyborough in round one will be taking on. Paul Henry has the next team out, and the next team out is Killincare. Killincare and Ballyborough, another local derby. I don't want to whet the appetite. Actually, Killincare beat Ballyborough on the weekend in the Breffni League. The next team out will be Arva. And Arva, newly promoted to the intermediate, and they will be playing, Paul Henry has this team for us, they will be playing Shercock. So, Arva v Shercock in their first intermediate championship game in 2015. The next team out, Butler's Bridge, Paul Henry's team. Butler's Bridge will be taking on. Paul, you're pulling out your team's opposition for 2015, and that's Drumlane, another local derby. That is a wonderful draw. Butler's Bridge to take on Drumlane. Jerry Brady taking out the next team for round one, and that is Cavan GAA. Cavan GAA will be taking on. Paul Henry has this one for us, and that is Belturbet. Cavan GAA and Belturbet, and the last two teams in the Intermediate Championship for 2015, and that will see Swanland Bar. Swanland Bar will be taking on, and the last team out, Ballyhaise. Ballyhaise, of course, last year's intermediate runners-up. So, just to run through the fixtures for the Intermediate Championship 2015, in the preliminary round, Game A will see Larry United taking on Drum. In the round one proper, the winner of the preliminary round will take on Red Hills. Next up is Ballyborough and Killincare, and my sidekick Damien Dunne, who's not here with us tonight, he's over in London, he'll be delighted to hear that one. Arva will take on Shercock, Butler's Bridge will take on Drumlane, Cavan GAA will take on Belturbet, and Swanland Bar will take on Ballyhaise. I'm joined now by Susan Brady. Susan, the chairperson of Ballyhaise. Ballyhaise last year's beaten finalists. Are you happy with the draw this year?
As you look at the Intermediate Championship is possibly one of the hardest championships to win in this county. No matter what team you're going to get drawn against, it's going to be a battle. Yeah,
and in fairness, Ballyhaise, you know, they've had a great teams down through the last 10, 15 years, and you know, they know how hard it is to win this Intermediate Championship.
Well, I think at this stage we have to kind of admit to ourselves that Ballyhaise is a very good league team. We kind of struggle a wee bit in the championship, but you know, we'll give it our best. You know, we'll be thereabouts, but say Ballyhaise are proven to be a good league team and somewhat lacking in championship.
And Division 1A this year in the league, that should help you out as well going into your intermediate championship.
Please God, you know, you're going to get good tough games in Division 1A, so it should help to prepare us that little bit better.
Absolutely. And Susan, not only that, but we'd say, like, beating finalists last year, went into this year, found it hard, like most of the clubs in the county, to find a manager. You've only found a manager lately. You know, like, how torturous was that, trying to find a manager to come in and take his over? And he's, like, very strong and beating finalists last year.
Well, it was difficult to find a manager, but it was probably made more equally difficult by the fact that it was a late call. We didn't realise that we were going to need a manager until, you know, the end of January, so it left us looking at the back end of the year. But we got a fantastic man in John Brady from Rammer, and he has fitted in very, very well, very strong character. You know, we have good hopes that he'll work well with the lads.
Excellent, and best of luck to Ballyhaise and best of luck to yourself, Susan, for the year ahead. So we're just going to go on now. Jerry is going to explain the senior championship draw to us. You go ahead, Jerry, and explain the senior championship draw, and we'll get our next speaker up for after you speak.
The senior championship consists of 17 teams. Cavan GAA, Mulhorn, Kingscourt, Galna, Dungoon, Ballina, Kilgalley, Rammer United, Drummalee, Castleran, Den, Larby, Collins, Killishandra, Blackburn, Crusherlock, and last year's winner of the intermediate championship, Coothill.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, we're just going to go back to Niall Brady here, because Niall Brady was up on the stage and I forgot to get talking to him just about the intermediate championship. Niall, yourselves, you've won the junior championship last year. You're back up in intermediate. It's been a while since Arva have been up there, but it's an exciting year ahead for you.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, Michael. Great year last year, got promotion to Division 1B, and we won the junior championship. We're back in the intermediate ranks after 18 years, so we're certainly looking forward to it. We're drawn against Shark up there, great friends and rivals up there, and Shark up beat us in the junior semi-final in 2011, so we'll be looking for revenge this year, so hopefully we'll be able to achieve it.
And you've a lot of stars on the team as well at the moment, a lot of lads who've come through under 21 success, and obviously a lot of lads involved with the junior winning All-Ireland team as well of last year.
Yeah, we had a dinner dance there recently, and we had a lot of trophies on display and medals between the Cavan Under 21 Championship, the Junior A Championship. We also got Division 2 league medals, and some of our members, 3 of our members on the Cavan Under the Cavan Under 21 4-time winning Ulster Championship, and we had 3 members on the All-Ireland Junior winning team, so we had lots of medals on display this year. So seldom is wonderful, and hopefully we can have the same again at the end of 2015.
Hopefully it will become less seldom, so more often, so it will. But Niall, best of luck in the intermediate championship this year, and thanks a million for coming up to speak to us, alright? So we're going to go back now, and we're going to do the senior championship draw. Jerry has explained it there, so we're going straight in. First up will be Game A in the preliminary round, and the first team out will see Drumgoon, and Drumgoon will be taking on Sean or Paul Henry has this ready for us now, and Drumgoon will be playing Den in the first preliminary round, Game A. Game B in preliminary round we'll see Kingscourt, last year's beaten finalists, taking on Paul Henry, just opening it up for us here now, and it will be Mullahoran. So that's a big game in the preliminary Game B. So preliminary round, Game A, Drumgoon versus Den. Game B, Kingscourt versus Mullahoran. Now the winners of Game A and B go straight through to round 1 proper. The losers will play in Game C, so that's the loser of Game A versus the loser of Game B, and the winner of this game will go through to round 1. The loser of Game C is eliminated from the senior championship. So everybody is clear on that. So we're ready to go through to the next. So in round 1, you will see the winners of Game A, which is Drumgoon or Den, and they will take on Ballina. And in Game 2, it's the winner of Game B, which is Kingscourt or Mullahoran, and they will be taking on Drummalee. So, Kingscourt or Mullahorn will play Drumalee in the second of round 1 games. A big game for Drumalee there. And the winner of Game C, which is the winner of loser Game A and loser Game B, this is getting quite technical now, and they will be taking on Ramor United. A lot of big names out in the senior championship already. So now into Game 4, and this will see Coothill, newly promoted to the senior ranks, and they will be taking on, Jerry Brady has this team for us, and they will be taking on Lavi. So Coothill versus Lavi in round 1 proper of the senior championship. And the next team out in round 1 will see Cavan Gaels, the reigning champions from 2014, and they will take on, I know Michael Mooney is looking up here, he's very inquisitive, they'll be taking on Cucullins. So a big game there for both Cucullins and Cavan Gaels in round 1. Paul Henry is the next team out. This is Game 6, Lacken. Lacken will take on, Jerry Brady taking out the next team, Gauna. Lacken taking on Gauna. We have another big local derby in the senior championship this time. Paul Henry taking out the first team to play in Game 7, and that is Killygarry. Killygarry will take on, Jerry Brady just taking out the next team, and they will take on Crusherlaw. So Killygarry will take on Crusherlaw, and in the last game of round 1 proper, we will see Killashandra taking on, Jerry has that one, Castlerahan. So, just to run through all these games again. Game A, preliminary round, Drumgoon versus Den. Game B, Kingscourt versus Mullahorn. Game C will be the loser of Game A playing the loser of Game B. Round 1 proper, the winner of Game A, that's Drumgoon or Den, will take on Ballinya. The winner of Game B, that's Kingscourt or Mullahorn, will play Drumalee. The winner of Game C will take on Ramor United. The fourth game of round 1 will see Coothill and Lavi. We then have Cavan Gaels taking on Cucullins, Lacken taking on Gauna, Killygarry taking on Crusherlaw, and Killashandra taking on Castlerahan. So we're just going to have a couple of interviews here. We have Michael Mooney of the reigning senior championship. Michael Mooney, Cavan Gaels. Michael, another wonderful draw for the senior championship, and you take on Cucullins in the first round.
Yes, there's some nice ties there already there. Cucullins, we played in last year's semi-final. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. There's no easy games in the championship. When it comes to the championship, you need to get your best team out, and hopefully we can do the club proud again. Hopefully we can beat the Cucullins, but we know we're going to have a tough day.
And not only that, you don't have the manager that you had last year. You lost Peter Donnelly or Peter Canavan, but he's ably switched places with his assistant from last year.
Yeah, Kieran has stayed on. Peter's gone in with the Tyrone under-21s, but Kieran, he had a few offers from near and far, but he chose to stay with the Gaels, and we're delighted to have him. We've seen his work firsthand last year. He was a big help in us winning the championship back, and we're looking forward to another big year, and we think we have the right man in charge.
And when you look at 2014, he's won the senior championship. He went on to play Schlockmeal in the first round of Ulster. That game could have went either way. He's lost by a point or two in the end, and look at Schlockmeal now. Schlockmeal through to an All-Ireland Club Championship final in a couple of weeks' time on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, and I think Schlockmeal, they've improved an awful lot as they go to game. I think we started cold up in Derry. It's no excuse. I think that it is what it is. We didn't start playing until the second half, and at that stage we had a mountain to climb. We got close. We could have drew level, but unfortunately we just came up short. But you know, it is hard to crack Ulster, and it's
it's something we look at if we win the championship. We don't take winning the championship lightly. We know it's a big feat to win the championship in Cavan, so we deal with that first.
And it's a young team that just have as well coming through. There's a lot of the older, more experienced players gone, so it's time that these young fellas stepped up to the plate, and maybe it's their turn to win an Ulster championship if they can win the senior championship, obviously.
Yeah, well, we'll take the senior championship first, but like a lot of them young lads, that was their first championship last year, so a lot of them did stand up, and it was a tough final against Kingscourt. You played well when you beat Kingscourt, and we look forward to playing them. It's always a good duel, and Phil's there behind me, and we've had some battles over the time. But yeah, the lads stood up, and we were very proud. It was a great day for the club, and we're looking forward to get back in the championship again.
Good stuff. And just as you mentioned Phil, I'm going to go to Phil next. Phil, you're welcome to the stage. Philip, beaten finalists last year. Probably the best championship game of football that I've seen in Cavan since I came down here 15, 16 years ago. But you probably, I suppose it's not going to help you with the losing the senior championship last year, but it was a wonderful game of football and a great spirited game as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. It's a great achievement to get to a final. I suppose we have a good few young fellas coming through, lads that have represented the county at minor and under 21 level, and as I said, it was great to get to a final. Okay, we were beaten in the end by the better team. However, we see it as a stepping stone to further success. So we'll be firing on all cylinders come championship time to bring the senior championship back to Kingscourt. That's our objective.
You have to start off with your Bethany League first, and you have to play a few league matches as well, and then you're going to your senior championship. But this is a young Kingscourt team as well. There's a couple of lads, maybe a touch of the 30 or just over, but for the majority of them, it is a young team. And I suppose the loss of Paul Faulkner in the final last year, he's still under 21 this year, and he's going to be a key part of the Ulster under 21 or the Cavan Ulster under 21 progress this year. So you do have a young team coming through at Kingscourt as well.
Yeah, we do, Mike. Yeah, as I said, we've been blending young fellas for the last number of years. Pairings one of a number of excellent young fellas coming through, and obviously I'd like to take this opportunity and wish Pairings and the Cavan under 21s all the very best next Wednesday night. It's a big game for them, and I'm sure that if they can get over the Donegal game, they'll go on and push for the 5 in a row.
Absolutely, and we all echo that sentiment. I suppose it wouldn't be right if I didn't go on to Kenny Connolly, the Assistant Secretary from Coothill up to senior ranks. When was the last time you were in senior ranks?
Well, it's a long time now, but we're obviously in as favourites now for the senior championship, so that's a bit of pressure in itself. These guys we haven't played senior football, but funny enough, in one way, that's again, you have another way, with a lot of fellas at county level have excelled very well, so hopefully playing Labby in the first round, so played them last Sunday in a league game, good contest, winter football, low scoring, a lot of mistakes, but we both be sharper for that.
Absolutely, and you mentioned you do have a lot of ex-county and current county players at the minute, so you are an upcoming team. The likes of Enda Hessen there, who was absolutely fantastic in the intermediate championship last year. Do you think you can do it again now in the senior?
Absolutely, these are the challenges of Enda and a few of the boys like. They'll thrive on this, they'll look forward to this. This draw's made now, and that's what boys are starting to focus on. Their management's the same, the players are the same. We made the step up now, and it's just to push on from that. The management will get the boys focused, and hopefully we'll get a good run.
So you're looking forward to the game against Labby, at least in the first round?
Yes.
That's where you can only put your focus on for the minute. So.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd be happy with, and they'll be happy with as well, so it's a 50-50 call there.
Absolutely. Thanks a million, Kenny, and best of luck in the senior championship this year for Coothill and everybody involved. So we're just going to go back now to Jerry Brady. Jerry, a wonderful draw, a lot of local derbies in junior, senior and intermediate. It's going to be a hell of a championship. If it's something like last year's championship, it's going to be a great set of championships.
Last year was absolutely fantastic, and it's great, like senior championship, intermediate and junior. With some fabulous games, so we had up to semi-final and final stages. It really was mouth-watering stuff, and I encourage the public to come out and support their clubs. And when we get the good weather, please God, in the summer, that we want everyone to come out and get behind their teams, because it's very important. This is the local club man's All-Ireland final. That's the highest grade they can play within the club. So come out and support them and encourage everyone to get behind their club and get behind their teams. And we have some mouth-watering lineups there, especially the preliminary round there in the senior with Phil Smith's Kingscourt playing against Mullahoran. I think that's going to be a duel. Ourselves and Lacken, it's unfortunate we're drawing them because we were amalgamated with them for minor and under 21. But I think all the friendship will be dropped on that day. It'll be everyone chasing that ball and hoping to get over the line with it. So there is some very attractive pictures. I think Arver and Shercock in intermediate is really an attractive picture at that grade as well. And like when you go down through them, there's some great groupings of those. So we're looking forward to a fantastic championship again in 2015 and a fabulous summer.
And there was a couple of changes made as well to the senior championship and the reserve championship. There's going to be seeding this year in the senior championship going into round 2, I think it is.
Yeah, when you get to, I think it's quarter-final stage. I think it's really right that if you win and get through in the winners group, that you should be seeded. I think that was something that we slipped up on slightly last year. So there has to be a reward for coming through as the winners out of your section. So it's very important, and it means that it's so important to win that initial couple of games and get through there and be seeded.
So that means that the teams who win their first round and go through to a quarter final, they can't be drawn against any of the teams that have previously won.
Yeah, that's correct, Mike.
Yeah, excellent. So that's great. And not only that, there's a change to the reserve championship structure as well this year, where the reserve championship will be played after the senior, intermediate and junior championship.
Yes, it's played after the first round of senior, intermediate and junior championship. And I think it's only fitting too that it gives the genuine reserve player a better chance of performing on the big day, which is his biggest day, which is championship football. I think it's very important that it doesn't give clubs an opportunity maybe to pack team with the teams with players that have already played with their first team in a relevant championship, let it be junior, intermediate or senior. So it gives the genuine junior a chance to have his day in the sun. And I think that's very important, because these are the lads that play in the wet weather and the bad weather at the start of the year and at the end of the year. And come championship time then, in some situations they're left sitting on the sideline and a first team player is put in their place. So it's giving them an opportunity to play, which I think is only right and fitting.
And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the community together and getting people wanting to play football and getting games for everybody who wants to play football.
I think we should be offering football to as many players as possible, as many clubs as possible. And that is the key, and hopefully we'll be able to do it in the best possible way, in the best weather as well. And the ideal situation which we hope to try and develop is that we play our football between March and the end of October, when people can enjoy playing and people can enjoy going out and watching the games as well. And that's our plan.
Absolutely. And just before we wrap up here, folks, I want to say well done to the Cavan minor ladies who won in Derry on the weekend in their first round of the Ulster Championship. We also want to say well done to the ladies who are top of Division 2 in the Tesco Homegrown National Football League. And we want to wish the lads, the senior team, the best of luck this Sunday down in Galway. Obviously it's a huge game for Cavan senior team in the Division 2. So on that note, folks, these have had our senior, intermediate and junior championship draws. So we'll draw to a close here.
So there you have it, folks. The draws are now done for the senior, intermediate and junior championships for 2015. As I'm sure you'll agree, there's some wonderful games to whet the appetite for the summer ahead. So that's all from us at Gaelic Football Views. Tune in next week for more football from Cavan.